Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is my first shoe review and I'm really excited to share my opinions on the Nike Vaporfly Next %. This is a trainer that's had a lot of attention in the media, some controversy and a lot of hype, so I can't wait to get into the nitty-gritty and share what I think of it. So before we start, I'm going to be open and honest. I bought this pair of Next % myself. I just wanted to find out if the hype was really true and if these trainers are as good as everyone says they are. I've got another pair here, which I've put a lot of miles into, and I bought these myself too, but I was gifted the pink pair and I absolutely love the pink colourway. Gifted those by Pro Direct Running, but they haven't said I have to share anything or give any certain opinion, so my review is going to be unbiased. It's just going to be what I think of the trainers, the good points and the bad points. So let's start with how they look. When I first got them out of the box, I was a bit surprised. I'm used to racing in very minimalistic, very light, stripped down racing trainers, flats if you like. And then I got these out and I felt like I was holding spaceships. It's got this big pokey bit at the back, which I don't know what it's for, apparently aerodynamics. It's a massive, massive thick sole, and it felt very strange to even hold in your hand. They do look nice. They go great with my Swansea Harriers vest, the green pair. They're a smart looking trainer. They're not my favourite looking trainer, but they do the job. They currently have two colourways. You can either get them in this bright green or this snazzy looking pink colour. I think they're bringing out a white pair as well, which is pretty exciting. They look pretty awesome. I think that's actually my favourite pair. But these definitely stand out, and if you've watched any races, you'll see a number of people lining up in these bright coloured trainers. Now let's talk about what they're made of. So the upper is made of a vapor weave, which is a new material that Nike have brought out. The old 4% used to have a fly net, but apparently that fly net used to hold on to water and make the trainers not as great in bad conditions and hold on to that water, which is then weight, which then slows you down. This vapor weave is very thin. It feels like crepe paper. You almost think it's going to rip. I haven't had any issues with any tears or anything in the pairs I've worn, but it's very thin and it doesn't hold on to the moisture, which is great. So that's the upper. You've got the laces, pretty standard. The laces come across to try and put the pressure on a different part of your foot. The tongue is super thin, the thinnest tongue I've ever had in a pair of trainers. I was a bit worried that I was going to feel the laces through the tongue, but that hasn't been an issue. The only thing I would say is it can take ages to get the trainers on, do the laces up and have the tongue nice and neat against your foot. If you rush it, it crumples. Basically, I wouldn't wear these in a triathlon if I was trying to be quick on a transition, because I'm not so great at getting them laced up. At the back, don't know if you can see that, there's just a strip of cushioning. Doesn't seem like much, but it's enough, it does the job. And then we'll get to the main part, the bit that everyone talks about. You've got this big, thick ZoomX sole, so that's the foam, very responsive foam. And then in amongst that foam is a carbon plate that runs from the heel through into the forefoot. The grip, you've got some rubber at the bottom, and then there's not much grip at this bit, but that's not where you need the grip. So it's just hard foam. So yeah, they look alright and they're made of some stuff, but what really matters is their performance. Do they really live up to the hype? This is what I wanted to find out. So when I first put them on, even walking around the house felt very strange, but then I took them out for just a quick jog around the block and I was shocked. They are very, very soft, springy. I don't know the best word to describe it, but you get a lot of response from the ground, almost energy return as you strike the ground. Almost feels like you're bouncing down the road. And that's due to this really, really responsive ZoomX cushioning, but also the way that interacts with the carbon fiber plate. So how does that transition into performance? Well, I've found that my heart rate is slightly lower in these pairs of trainers than it is compared to other rival pairs of trainers designed for racing. This is a very light trainer, but so are other trainers from rival brands. But the difference is this carbon fiber plate interacting with the very responsive foam almost propels you down the road. And that's why this trainer is a game changer. So everyone talks about the 4% and then the next percent, which used to be called before it came out the 5%, and that 5% improvement. And that's great, and I do think you run faster in these over whatever distance you do them. Whether you're going on 5K up to a marathon, I think these trainers are the trainers that are going to help you set that PB. But the biggest thing I found with these is the recovery. I've put a lot of miles into my first pair of these. They're pretty battered now. I've done a lot of hard long runs. But what I found is the recovery after those long runs is so much better than with other trainers that are light and fast. And that is huge for your training. If you're recovering, it means that you can go again in the next session without feeling battered. And it's that, it's that polarization of training that really brings on the benefits. Additionally, I've run 2 marathons in Vaporfly Next Percents now, and both times my legs have recovered much better than usual. But also, normally in a marathon, 22 miles, my calves start to really hurt. But in these, they don't. That extra cushioning, that extra response of the foam seems to protect your calves, and you just bounce down the road. Of course, a marathon's still difficult, but I do find that the recovery and the lesser fatigue you feel in the Vaporfly Next Percent is really, really interesting and something to consider if you're thinking about buying a pair. So my experience in these are I have PB'd 10K, half marathon and marathon wearing a pair of Next Percent. Would I have PB'd in another trainer? Possibly, because I was training well regardless. But I have found that the recovery benefits have been huge, and I do find that my heart rate is slightly less, which means the effort is slightly less, which means I can push a bit harder and run a bit faster. So it's definitely worth considering if you're looking to shave a few seconds or even minutes, depending what the distance of the race. Let's talk about durability. The durability of the trainer is one of the things that I was worried about. People talk about saving these trainers for race day. Maybe wear them once for a jog to get used to them, and then put them away and wear them on race day. That doesn't really suit me. I like to do my hard long runs in the trainer or the same type of trainer that I'm going to race in. So that's what I did. Got this pair here, and they are absolutely battered. I don't know if you can see that. The tread at the bottom's gone, the foam's started to peel off, but I have put a few hundred miles into these, maybe 250, 300 miles. And those training runs were great, I recovered well and they ran fast. The big thing is, the foam doesn't last very long on these trainers. And I really noticed it when I put on a new pair and this pair on opposite feet, and the difference, oh wow, I didn't go for a run, even just walking, I could feel how the foam is it's not responsive anymore. It's dead, it's gone, this foam is done. Still got the carbon plate, still a light trainer, I could still go out on a run in these, but I'm not going to get that responsiveness, I'm not going to be bouncing down the road. Whereas with the new pairs, it's really responsive, really great. So it is almost best to save a pair for race day. But the problem is, it's very difficult to train in them because you are going to lose that responsiveness quite quickly. Now let's come on to the price. They are so expensive, absolutely ridiculously expensive. £240 is what I paid for the green pairs, and that's a lot. You can get 2 really good pairs of trainers for that. But there are so many positives to this trainer, and it gives you confidence on race day knowing that your effort level is going to be slightly less and your legs aren't going to be as beaten up. So overall, these trainers are a very light, cushioned trainer with a plate in that makes running feel a little bit easier and your legs fatigue less. A lot of positives, but they are very expensive. Difficult to do training runs in them because it's hard to justify training in such an expensive pair of trainers. Let's now talk about the controversy regarding them. There's a lot of controversy in whether it's okay to have a carbon fibre plate, whether Nike are taking it too far, whether these trainers should be banned. It's an interesting concept, but all the rival brands now are bringing out their own version with carbon fibre plates and their own super duper cushioning. I do think that the IAAF need to put some rules in place so it doesn't get ridiculous. I know the Alphafly supposedly has 3 carbon fibre plates in, and if the cushioning gets more and more and the carbon fibre plates get more and more, we could get into a position where it's just a fact of if you've got the most expensive trainer, you're going to run faster. So I do think they should put in some rules, and then if each brand just follows those, then we're all in a good place. But right now, I think these trainers are very hard to ignore. And you can see that when you look across the front of a race, pretty much everyone is wearing Nike. So if you're looking for a racing trainer from 5K to a marathon, I think you should consider these. They're very expensive, but I think the hype is real. It's not just marketing. They make you run faster and fatigue less. But I don't want to just tell you that, I want to show you. So in my next video, I'm going to take a pair of these down to the treadmill and compare them with some other racing flats. Get the heart rate monitor on, run at some different speeds, and see if the heart rate really is lower and if I really am working less hard in the pair of Vaporfly Next percent. So we've come to the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share and all that. I've got lots more videos coming up. I've just bought a Petzl head torch because it gets really dark around here in the forest. So I'll be reviewing that, and hopefully it does the job and it'll light up the forest and be my saviour in these winter nights. What else have I got? I've got some more trainer reviews, race reviews, but also some marathon tips for those going into winter training and thinking about a spring marathon next year. Thanks for watching, and check out my other videos.